Boom. And we are live. Dream Chasers, what's going on? General Moses in the building. As you can hear, my voice is a little treat for you here today. And on what more of a perfect episode to lose your voice than episode 500. We've been doing the show since 2017. And if you actually look back to the first ever interview we did, it was with another house music producer, DJ, good friend of mine. And here we are bringing it full circle, episode 500. We have just a complete legend of the game. I've referred to you in the past as an underground king, Danny, but I've noticed like you're becoming an above ground king too now. So we'll talk about that today. Decide where where you're looking at taking your future and your career. But ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Danny Rhys. Danny, where are you tuned in from today?
So I'm coming in from Torum HQ here in Kent, and yeah, what a pleasure to be on the show for your 500th milestone. I mean, that's incredible. So congratulations to that, Adam.
Thank you, thank you. It's good to have you here, man. And I know we did we did this a couple of years ago, and it's just been really cool to see how far you've come with everything you're working on as well. So to dive in, I mean, just for those who aren't familiar with you, like, how did you get into house music? What is your story? I actually don't think I know it. So yeah, go ahead.
Just a dance music lover originally, just going out all the time and seeing DJs play and just being inspired by it and just like, like many people. And it's like, I want to do that. And, so I started to learn to DJ, and then eventually I got a job working for the London Sound Academy, teaching people to DJ. I was playing a lot of clubs, local clubs, a lot of London clubs, a few London residencies at the time, going probably back about 10 years now under different aliases. So, was a man about the town back then, so to speak. And yeah, just being out networking led my way to London Sound Academy, teaching people to DJ on the side of as a bit of a side hustle. And then yeah, that kind of led me to touring eventually. So yeah, just for loving music and just being around it.
What was that initial connection for you in Tool Room? Did it begin with you hearing like a record from the label? Did you meet someone? What was that genesis?
I mean, originally I had a friend, and his dad. He loved going to what it used to be called Tour Nights back then. A lot of the parties around London was Tour Nights, and his dad used to show me, like, play the CDs, show me the CDs, and I just loved the music on them. I mean, Tourum's got over a 20-year story now, so that's obviously beyond my time in dance music, essentially. So. But yeah, just hearing the CDs. I mean, CDs were obviously a big player, going back 10, 15 years ago. So um just hearing that music, and then that's kind of put what Torum on the map for me.
Love that. Yeah, for anyone not familiar with Tool Room Nights, and it is spelled Knights. I know there's some on Spotify that I've binged on looking back because to me, I hardly even knew the label existed before 2010, and I'm like, whoa, there's a lot more here,
Oh yeah.
foundation. So that's when it all started for you. Love that. Was there what was the banger back then? Was it uh is that sounds like before Man with the Red Face, right?
I mean, Man with a Red Face would have been. I'm sure it would have been. Sure that was around by then for sure. But yeah, Mark and a lot of the residents at the time, they just had such a unique sound at the time, and this was that point, in dance music history where EDM was sort of on its way out. I mean, back then it was called Progressive House, Electro House, and that kind of got dubbed EDM. Um, way back then, and that was sort of on the way out, and underground dance music was sort of, or underground house music, or should I say, it was sort of coming back in, deep house, soulful house, piano house, commercial house, that sort of started overtaking what you call EDM at the time. Um, and Torum were just there leading the way completely, alongside other like flagship labels like like Defected. They stayed strong throughout that whole period, just doing their thing. Just real representing the underground, and I think that was just a natural move for a lot of people at the time, was moving from EDM that was being played in clubs, whereas this new wave of music was coming through, and yeah, it's just a natural way of moving on musically.
Yeah, and you said Tool Room had such a unique sound then. I guess maybe I'm biased, maybe you're biased too, but I feel like Tool Room still does have a very unique sound within our industry too. So speaking of Tool Room, the label, obviously your role there has changed a bit. It's evolved over the years. So what did you start as in the office, and what is your official role right now?
So I came in as a playlister, someone to sort of look after the touring playlists, listening to a lot of promos, seeing what's going to be hot this week, music that we have to get into our playlist, keeping them fresh, or being a man across the scene essentially, and just seeing what's going on, what music should we be supporting, getting to recognize new artists, and that just really kept me on the pulse of music and what everyone else was doing, and just seeing the scene moving really. So that's what I came on to do, and then I started to work with Mark on tour and radio, sort of helping to organize the show and help kind of put a track list together, all the promos that I'm listening to, as well as all the music that we're releasing at the label, and organize guest mixes and things like that. So I kind of absorbing a lot of music and putting it across our own networks and our own channels through Tour Room. And yeah, that's led me to work real closely with Mark over the years on the show. So now I am the full producer of the show. So I would create the show, produce the show, work with Mark with and our other hosts on the show. And now I'm also the Torm Tracks A&R. So there's been a lot of movement since I've started over my 6 year career here. So but yeah, it's been incredible, and every role I've had has all played a part, to moving forward in this career. So I'm really lucky and really blessed to be where I am. That's for sure.
Yeah, man. I actually maybe I did know that and I just forgot it. But as far as you producing the show, I'd forgotten that. That's
Mhm.
awesome. So on that note, who's the new best host of Tool Room Radio, right? Obviously, Mark's still holding it down, but we got Estelle, we got Cruzy, we got you. Every now and then, someone will also hop in there. Seems like Nausicaa, she's getting a shot at things lately. But I mean, come on, just tell the people who's the best host of Tool Room Radio now.
But I'm always going to have a love for Mark. We've been doing it for so long now. I mean, I must have produced maybe nearly 400-500 shows with him, coming up to 500 shows perhaps. And he's the don, he is the king of radio, so I can't take that away from him. But however, Estelle and Cruzy, we do a lot with those guys, and they both bring a extra little flavor, and they work so hard as well. And when as a radio producer, when you get a voiceover from an artist that may be on tour that you can't sit in a studio with, and they've just nailed the script, it makes my life so much easier, and they just bring energy. And Cruzy, that he's doing, as far as I know, we're perhaps the only sort of record label indie radio show going at the moment that is doing multiple languages. So Cruzy at the moment is doing a Spanish version every single week that goes out
Wow.
to um Spanish speaking territories, that and it's just starting to really connect, especially in South America. So that's really amazing. And just working with Cruzy, and so it's making me learn Spanish as well. I don't speak Spanish, but I'm having to write, help produce a Spanish speaking show. So it kind of it's been a real education in Spanish actually. But it's again, it's amazing. And Cruzy brings so much energy. Sometimes I'll send him a script, and in 20 minutes, bang, he's on tour. He works so hard, this guy. I can't respect him enough. And 20 minutes he'll have a voiceover back for me to put into a show and help produce up. And yeah, mad respect for the three hosts that we're working with at the moment, like on the regular. Yeah, Mark, Cruzy, and Asal. They're incredible.
Wow. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. You're gonna probably have to learn some new languages at some point now too. Besides our
Yeah,
our buddy Sam.
I
Go
will
ahead.
see. We are thinking of perhaps doing an Italian version as well, so that would be a bit of
There you go. Well,
a
I mean, I know our buddy Sam Troy. He was on Leaders in the New School with me. He was I think narrator for Mark when he was in Japan. So Sam, there you go, man. I'll plant the seed for you. But coming into just like I've noticed you have really stepped up your social media game the past maybe 2 years. I'm sure you kind of remember when you made up your mind you were going to go this direction of content creation. And I'm sure I'm not the first person to tell you, dude, many of your reels are freaking hilarious.
thank
I'll never forget the Miami Music Week.
Oh yes,
we
yes,
got
that
we got we got to see if we can get a link to that one in the show notes. Courtney, remind me of that one. Um, but where did that inspiration come from? Because I think one thing DJs do struggle with is kind of getting vocal, getting on camera, even if it's Instagram Reels. So like, how'd you get the idea? And also like, what's been your biggest learning lesson from doing all the content creation?
I mean, as I'm sure most people know now, I mean, social media plays such a huge part in anything, and promoting yourself and what you believe in and what you're trying to portray on your social media, and it's something that if you want to move forward in your perhaps chosen passion, I mean, undoubtedly you're going to have to get into something like this and make content and post content, like we're doing now. We're this is another social media. Um, so yeah, I mean, I just wanted to kind of be a bit more true to my own personality of just being a bit silly and not taking things too seriously, I suppose. Just yeah, just a light-hearted take on the industry sometimes or at that particular moment. And just to really play on that, yeah, yeah, just not to take things too seriously and I'm not embarrassed of some of the things that I may post, and it's yeah, it's just a bit of fun, So that's kind of my take on it really, and just to kind of showcase the funny side and the silly side of what can be quite a tough industry at times, and there is still a lot of playfulness there, and yeah, just want to be like just a nice guy as well, and kind of trying to get that across my socials, and yeah, that's me really.
I think now that you mention it, I do think it helps a lot. Maybe especially for folks who don't know you, because the nature of your role, especially with A&R, is you have thousands of people every day waiting for you to say yes. And so you're the guy saying no to everyone, you
Correct.
know. So we got to know that the guy that says no is he's actually hilarious.
Yeah, it's exactly. It's so tough. I mean, like you say, there's hundreds from demos to promos, and having only a particular amount of things we can do with actually signing music or playing music on a radio show. For a radio show, I have like 20 to 25 tracks I can pick per week, and I have to plug certain records within that show through our own channels. From music that's on touring and our sub labels. They're going to get first priority, and academy graduates and trying to and special guests that we're releasing with, they're going to get first opportunities for guest mixes and things like that. And then you got demos. I can only release like 50 tracks a year on one A&R for one label solely. So you know, if I'm getting that amount of tracks, double that a week, I could sit through, and if I was to sign every single one of them, that's the whole year done. So every track really does have to have something special in it, and even if the music's not bad at all, it can be, some tracks are perfect, but sometimes they will just sit better on another label, more catered for that sound musically. So it's not always no is a bad thing. Sometimes it's just you just knocking on the wrong door. If I get a progressive house record, it's as beautiful as the music could be, it's just not going to work for us from what I'm doing, for example. So it can be hard. It can be heartbreaking for some people. I understand that, but I like to also try to give people the time of day of a response. Whereas a lot of labels out there that I know that you just won't get a single response back, and I know that can be quite damaging for people. And to not know where they stand, at least if I'm coming back with a response, you know, for me, in my own opinion, when I get nose off label, I'm like, great, I can move on. It's a way of moving forward. Even if it's a no, it could be a bit of a setback. However, it's a way for me to move forward. Okay, that didn't work. Try to work out the reasons why. They might even give me a reason. I can move forward, and that's all it's about, is being resilient and moving forward. And I hope people can take that away from me just by having a response. Is like, okay, great, he's listened to the track at least. I can move forward. And um but yeah, no, it can be quite brutal and it is tough. But yeah, I hate it. I'd love to sign every track if I could, but
Right. No, that's a good point though. I do think you do a better job at that than a good amount of labels, I should say, just at least giving a yes or no response. Because sometimes you're like, okay, do I do I take this somewhere else? Like the whole wondering yes or no. Just I guess good on you for doing that, because I have noticed you do that. It is much appreciated. So looking back on your journey here, and maybe it was that the era of the Tool Room CDs, right? Which I guess we didn't pinpoint it, but that had to be between '08 and 2012. Is that right?
Oh, even more so actually. I mean, that was sort of that was when they was really, really popping off. Yeah, sales were incredible. The numbers then were just insane.
Was that would you say that was your favorite era in
Of
your
touring,
journey? In your just in your personal journey of house music?
necessarily, I suppose. I mean, I think CDs, perhaps, like if you listen to a compilation, I think you're more of I suppose, more of a raver, more of a dancer, something you want to, take away and listen back to, whether it's a club CD or something from a particular night, a compilation, perhaps. Whereas myself, I'm coming at a lot of things as a DJ's point of view, so I'd want to actually get the tracks rather than a mixed, because a lot of the compilations were obviously like the records were mixed, so you wouldn't be able to DJ them. So I'll take a lot of inspiration for CDs back then and find the tracks that I liked and go and find them elsewhere to buy them and then
Yeah,
mix. But yeah, there's I did have the opportunity when I used to be albums manager here at Torum as well, and I kind of just caught the end of putting CDs together. So it was actually an amazing experience actually putting albums together. Creating the artwork, even just writing the blurb and the track list on the artwork for an actual CD, and then to get like a box delivered to HQ with an actual product in there, a physical CD. It was something really lovely about that, and just yeah, you felt really proud, because I mean a lot of music these days is just digital, there's no physical copy. So yeah, to catch the back of that, of actually getting a proper physical product, there's something really amazing about that. Like even like records now, people pressing more records and record shopping and
right.
um special about actually having a product, a physical piece of music. And yeah, I do kind of miss that. But yeah, however, we're in a digital age now, and can't see us going backwards.
Yeah, I mean, you do got me thinking now about doing like some General Moses cassette tapes and CDs, and I know, like you said, vinyl's getting popular too, just to do it, right? Because
Yeah,
it's different. Um,
honestly, special about to have your own piece of music on a record or a cassette. A cassette is an awesome idea. I mean, you'll just cherish that, and it's something you can hang up in your house and get a nice plaque or something with
right.
with your there. And yeah, it's a real something to be proud of.
Yeah. No. So in zoning in on favorite era of music, what I mean by that is, I look at my journey, and probably like 2010 to 2013, it was the typical, as you referred to, like EDM rave phase, Cruella, uh, of course, like Dimitri Vegas, like Mike, just going to a paint, they're spraying paint in the crowd, like that type of thing. But then really, I feel like when I'm like, I love this industry, is when I found, now what I'm realizing, the shows that you were producing for Tool Room Radio in about 2017. I've been going through those episodes lately too, and like, man, some of the records, 2016 through 2018, I'm planning, I'm like, pulling, personally just pulling some inspiration from those and bringing them back, because I can't believe that's already 6 years ago. But for you, like, do you have a 1 or 2 years similar to kind of what I'm saying, where you're like, oh man, you know what? Those were some good times.
I think 2018, that always sticks in my head a little bit. I mean, there was a lot of great music out at that point, and a lot of sort of house music that I was sort of working around and that I loved, and I loved to DJ. That was sort of starting to sort of break through commercially as well, as in the UK, especially. And it was kind of, it was just everywhere at that point, and it was just very summery. And I feel like there's quite a lot of songwriting involved in a few things as well, in terms of like pianos and melodies and things like that. And I really love that. And just going back 2 to 3 years before that, that was sort of more underground, and I love that era as well. And I was DJing a lot more back then on the circuit in London, and yeah, some incredible, like some of the superstars now were like breaking through at that point. They're the kings of the underground, and now like the likes like Christoph, when he was back in his sort of deep house music era, absolutely awesome music. Now he's obviously a lot more melodic, slightly techno progressive. But yeah, back then, is a lot of names that, yeah, that are still stuck with it, and they're just killing it right now. So yeah, there's a nice timeline in my head musically. That's for sure.
Yeah, love it. So yeah, kind of like oh 05 to oh 08 maybe, which as you've probably seen too, being in this like the states, we're still trying to catch up to where a lot of Europe is with house music, which is exciting because I've heard Mark say if he could just tour America for the rest of his life, then it's like I was like, okay, cool, I don't have to go too far. Hearing him say that, but who's your? I know you just believe. By the way, everyone, we're gonna get a link down below for Danny's most recent record, "For My People" with Kid Enigma. He's Chicago based, right?
I think he is, yeah,
He's
yeah.
Chicago. Um, Great record. I think just I was listening to it before we went live today, and it's that. I mean, you've definitely kind of leaned into a new sound lately, and I guess let's just talk about that because I think you are kind of going it a little bit less underground, but not obviously not too hardcore mainstream either. Is that how you feel about it? Because that's the vibe I'm getting, and I have like the last like 4 or 5 records you put up and bangers.
Yeah, thank you, man. Thank you. But yeah, I'd say so. It's again, like we was talking about earlier about just how I want to present myself, on social media as something that's just a little bit more fun, I suppose, and that's why I kind of like in my music. All the music that I play, I feel like fun music and has these elements of fun in them, and whether lots with the hooks and even just the drums, it's just fun, just wants to get you moving, and there's these just nice things you like sing along to. And I've played many sets before with, especially in the UK where the sound is a lot more minimal at the moment. There'll be some sort of younger artists that haven't maybe had the mileage I've had, perhaps, that are not understanding about DJing and the sounds that they're playing, and they kind of don't change anything up. And so when I come on with this music that's a little bit more fun and got these amazing moments in the records, it just really, I've just felt the energy lift in rooms before, when people are exposed to say 2 to 3 hours of the same sound over and over again, or just very instrumental perhaps, and just nothing's really moving. And then I come in with a new sound of bigger music and just these moments in the records. It just yeah, it can really lift something. And that's kind of what I'm at with in my own music, is trying to keep things a bit fun and a bit funky, a bit groovy. I love drums, I love Latin, and yeah, that's where I'm trying to be at, and just find something when I'm writing music that just represents me as an artist, and putting some personality in the music. So
Danny Rhys is fun, guys. Got it. He's a fun guy. Um, so who would you say is your dream artist to collab with right now?
I think Kasim, I think there's something again. I think we're quite relatable in a way. Again, his music is fun, it's bumpy, it's funky, and it's always got this something in it. It's just super playable. You could play him at all sorts of times for a night and a show, and very versatile. Yeah, I love his music, and he can just write so much off the back so easily. So I think it'd be incredible to work with. But yeah, there's a lot of artists that I work with here at the label. Tony Romero and Cruzy. Those guys are just insane producers at the moment. You're just writing real original music to it's just different, it's just different. It's very unique, and I really do rate those guys. And then there's someone like Cheney again, who's just again incredible writer. And this, yeah, I'm flying a flag for a lot of the guys we work with here. It is very biased, totally biased, but yeah, see these guys in action and delivering this incredible original music, and it's like, wow, you do respect them. And that's why we work with these people over and over again, is because there's just some real respect there for their craft and their originality and what they're doing. So yeah, there's a few there.
Yeah, I might have to piggyback on on most of those as well. You recently collabed with definitely someone who's a dream to do a record with, on and of course, La Flaca, Nausicaa. Yeah, her style. I'm like, it's fun, right? It's just fun. It's like let's go get the people going. Kind of similar to Kasim. So Love that, Danny. So to bring this one down for a landing, what would you say, what are you seeing as like the number one thing right now that producers or DJs should be paying attention to that maybe most aren't seeing?
Um, oh, there's a few things, you know. I mean, I'm seeing like a lot of artists. There's a sort of breed of artists at the moment that are just writing probably too much music. They'll sending me maybe 5 demos a week sometimes, and they're oversaturating themselves. I think people are thinking, you know, more content the better, and that is true in some aspects. Um, but I think when you're producing that amount, because obviously we've got sample packs galore at the moment to make writing music easier than ever. Um, Music can start to become the same. So I think when some artists are taking a bit of a step back and not just overproducing everything and just writing 5 tracks a week. I'm going to write a track in a day and it's just using all the same elements every single time. I mean, there's no problem in doing that, but I think you've just got to you need to break out that mold and become unique somehow or other and write something that is, that is original. And yeah, it is a tough one. There's a lot of things I think people could be doing, to break out at the moment. But I think yeah, you've just got to real stick to your guns as well and just be you. You know, what and do you and do some research as well. You know, a lot of people were saying, well, what label should I send this to then, or why what should I do with this thing? And it's like, well, you should know this for you. You should really know because it's why did you write this record in the first place? What was your inspiration? Who are your artists that you like? What tracks do you like? What labels did they release on? You know, you need to do a bit of research and actually prove why you're in this game anyway. You know, if you don't know where you're going to release your music, I mean, it's like how serious are you? You know, are you going to be here in 5 years? Not sure. So it's I think people really need to up their game a little bit on what they're actually doing with their music that they're writing and actually be realistic of where they're going to go and why what was your reference to this song that you wrote and if people are sending me like 5 a week like it's it's like I'm not sure where these references are coming from. It's the same thing over and it can be very repetitive. So again, you just need to, I think, just do a little bit of history, back yourself, and be original, and just write some great music instead of trying to go for that the mass releases all the time. I mean, yeah, 'cause sometimes that could do more damage than good if you're starting to not connect. But again, this is all my opinion. These are all my opinion. This is just
I mean,
yeah.
it's not. I feel like I'm interviewing Mark right now. You know, spoken just like him on. Sorry, say it again.
I'll be rubbing off on me.
Um, so I have some quick fun questions for you here. 5-second responses, whatever comes to mind for you, and then we'll close it down. So, what's your favorite venue to play at?
Oh, favorite venue.
First one that comes to mind.
Ministry of Sound. There's something about Ministry of Sound I've always liked.
I didn't. You did play there?
I played there a few times. Yeah,
Okay, I remember that was your dream to play there last time we had you on the show.
box still. I will say I still want to play the box, but there's something about that club, even just that 103 room. It's just something very special about that place. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Sweet. Favorite record right now?
Oh, favorite record right now. I put Audio Jack and Carrie Golden out. Nothing else matters. It's called A Little Change. Just a lovely story around that record, and it's just real original, disco, fun, groovy, and yeah, all over that.
Love it. Favorite record you've made?
I reckon I've made is probably Sabali. That's one that probably gets referenced the most, and yeah, I do love that track. So
Favorite flavor ice cream?
favorite flavor ice cream. I'm a chocolate man all the way.
Favorite color?
Favorite color. I don't have a favorite color actually. That's a bit boring, but
Favorite movie?
favorite movie. It's got to be something to do with Tom Hanks. To say Green Mile for now. I love that film.
Okay, okay. Favorite fruit?
Fruit. Let's go pineapple.
Love it. Favorite drink while DJing?
Oh, drink while DJing. I'm English. So I do like a lager. I will say.
All right. And if there was one person you wish could watch this interview, who is it?
Well, no one. No, I'm joking. Who watches? Probably my younger brother. I think he'd take a lot of inspiration out of this.
You said your uncle?
Younger brother.
Oh, younger brother. Okay. Oh, nice. Nice. Cool. Well, little brother Weeks, Rhys, good to have you here as a listener, a viewer. Danny, thank you so much for investing your most valuable resource with us here today, your time on episode 500 of Dream Chasers. Everyone, thank you for tuning in. Danny, any parting words of wisdom?
Well, just thank you for having me and congratulations on your 500th milestone show. That's big stuff, man. That's incredible. And yeah, looking forward to hearing some new General Moses music real soon.
Thank you. You know what? I just realized what's the best place for everyone to go follow you and keep up with what you're working on?
All at Danny Rhys Music across everywhere. It's at Danny RHYS Music. Come and say hello. Love to hear from you guys. And yeah, stay in touch.
There we go. All right, guys. Thank you for tuning into Dream Chasers, your home for house music. I'm your host, General Moses. And remember, in all you think, say, and do, take it to the next level.